I'm attempting to complete every single GameCube game, and I'm using a random number generator to pick the next game. Last episode, we hit baseballs and played All-Star Baseball 2003, and in this episode, we're looking into retiring and playing Tiger Woods PGA Tour 06. Tiger Woods PGA Tour 06 was released on September 20th, 2005, and was developed by EA Redwood Shores and published by EA Sports. This game was actually a lot of fun, but I was caught between two thoughts on how to consider this one complete. Before we get started, make sure to like this video because it helps out the channel, and subscribe if you're new so you don't miss any of the future games. Without further ado, this is my experience with Tiger Woods PGA Tour 06. In Tiger Woods PGA Tour 06, I was stuck between two thoughts when determining what would consider this one complete. On one hand, we could just play a round of 18 holes, and if we win against our opponent, then the game could be done. But there's also a PGA career mode that we could do, and once we completed all the challenges, we would consider it complete after that. Since that mode takes a while and we have other Tiger Woods games on this console, I decided that I would just compete in a 2-on-2 game of golf, doing 18 holes and winning to consider this one complete. We did play some of the challenges along the way, so I will show that as well, but just winning the game is how we're going to determine this one complete. Anyways, if you didn't know, Tiger Woods PGA Tour 06 is a golf simulation game that allows for us to play as real golfers on real courses from all around the world. It's a really good sports game for the time, but one that I had zero experience with before playing this game. We start this one by creating a character. There are a bunch of options when customizing your character, like naming them, changing facial features to match whatever you want them to look like, picking one's golf swag that they'll wear for each outing, and even adjusting how they swing the golf clubs and what equipment they use as well. I thought this was very in-depth for the time, and I spent some time creating a character that looks nothing like me. What do you think? Does this character look anything like yours truly? After designing our character, they give us some upgrade points to make us a better golfer. It's not much at first, and we'll have to complete challenges to continue upgrading our character, but it gives us a reason to play the game. The points are broken into categories such as power, accuracy, spin, putting, concentration, and general. Quickly, I'll cover what these affect. Power is how hard we can hit a ball and what our power boost is like when we get a game breaker, which is something I'll talk about later. Accuracy is how accurate we hit the ball and how well we make contact with the ball when swinging the club. Spin will allow us to put spin on the ball to control how much the ball rolls forward or backwards to gain some extra yards, or to spin the ball backwards towards a hole. Putting is how good we can putt on the green. Concentration affects our focus during the game and how well we will recover from the sand or the rough. General can be used for luck, which I guess just helps overall when playing. I think that covers it. So let's go into the first challenge. The first challenge we attempted was a driving challenge. We had 3 shots to hit the ball as far as we can off the tee, and the person that gets the most total distance will win the challenge. Being a brand new player with no stats, this actually became difficult, and it took me a few tries to win the game. I liked this though because it was helping me get used to the controls of the game. After completing a few challenges, I decided to take on the challenge to complete the game for my quest to complete every single GameCube game, and I challenged a team of 2 in the best of 18 holes. How this works is that both players on each team get to play on each hole, and the teammate with the best result on that hole is the result that's put on the scoreboard. So if I get a birdie and my teammate gets a bogey, then we get a birdie on the scoreboard. We will do this on every hole, and the team with the best score wins the event, and we complete the game. So let's dive into this and see how we did. We're challenging the team of Montague, a man that looks like he's dressed like a jester or something. His golf club even looks like a horn. In this challenge, I'm going to show my opening drive on the ball per hole, then our final shot to finish the hole, and if my teammate does better, then I will show his final attempt as well. Then I'll cover the scoreboard after each hole, so everyone can keep up with the score. Hole 1 is a short hole, and we're able to drive the ball really well and get pretty close to the hole. Once we get close to the hole, I struggled and our teammate was able to get a par on that one. If you don't know, when playing golf, each hole has a total amount of strokes that the hole should be completed in, which is called par. These can range from 3 to 5 based on the length of the hole. If you get par on each hole, then you would be doing the hole exactly the way it should be done. If you do one better, then you get a birdie. If you do two better, it's an eagle. If you go over par by one, it's called a bogey. 2 over is a double bogey, and 3 over is a triple bogey or a +3. I don't know how far it goes, but I'm assuming it could get bad if you're not very good at golf. Anyways, after the first hole, we got par thanks to our teammate, and Montague's team got a bogey, so we're in the lead by 1 stroke. On to hole number 2, a par 5. Also, since I didn't mention it, we're playing on the real course of Troon North Pinnacle. I have no idea where this is, but it seems like a bit of a deserty area. At least that's what it looks like in the background. We get a perfect drive on this hole, which shows us hitting the ball in slow motion. So that's pretty nice, and then we're able to finish this hole with a birdie, even though we should have gotten an eagle. I was still learning how to play at this point in the game. After hole number 2, we're still only up by 1 stroke. We move on to the next hole, which is a par 4. On this hole, we opened up with a drive directly into the sand, and then I struggled to get out of trouble for the rest of the hole. Our teammate even struggled, but did better than us and ended the hole with a bogey. Montague's team also struggled though and got a bogey, so our lead didn't change going into the 4th hole. This hole is a par 3, so this means that this hole is much shorter than the ones we've been playing. On our opening drive, we get the ball on the green, but it's a bit further than I wanted it to be. But we absolutely come in clutch and sink a super long putt for a birdie on this hole. I like that this game gives you that slow motion following the ball when you putt, because it feels so good when you're doing well. After this hole, we did one better than the other team, and we're now up by 2 after 4 holes. Hole 5 is a par 5, so let's see how we did on this one. With the longer holes, we struggle because our power level is at 0 at this point in the game, and it's hard to drive the ball very far. We get into trouble early on this hole, but I'm able to hit this chip onto the green from the sand. That puts us right next to the hole. My teammate and I both got par on this hole, and so did the other team, so we're at the same score after this hole. Hole 6 is a par 4. This was an amazing hole for us. We have a near perfect drive onto the green, and we're able to sink a putt from a good distance, and we actually got an eagle on this hole. The other team got par, and we're now 4 strokes less than the other team, and we're starting to take a clear lead against them. On to hole 7. It's a par 3, so it's another short hole. I was starting to feel it at this point in the game, and even though our drive was a little long past the hole, I was able to complete the perfect chip and complete this hole with a birdie. Montague got a bogey on this hole, and we're able to increase our lead to 6 after 7 holes. Almost done with the front 9, and we're in a comfortable position. Hole 8 is a par 5, so it's another long hole, meaning we're probably going to struggle again. But let's take a look. This wasn't our strongest hole. We started with a great drive, and then once we got close to the green, I made a mistake and only hit the ball like 3 feet, causing us to only get a par on this hole. The other team didn't take advantage of this though, and also got par on hole 8. Hole 9 is a par 4, and it's the final hole of the front 9 of the course. On this hole, we started off horrible and almost put the ball directly in the sand to start. But we got ourselves out of trouble and were able to get a par on this hole. I wanted to talk about Game Breaker real quick, as our teammate finishes the hole with a birdie. When doing good things during the course, we gain Game Breaker, and once the meter is filled, we can use it to make an impossible shot easy, or so that we can drive the ball really far. I used it on this hole, which was a bit wasteful, but it allowed for me to get par on the course with a long putt without even thinking about what I was doing. If used correctly, these can be used to get a major advantage over your opponent. Anyways, we add 1 more stroke on our lead and finish the front 9 with a 7-point lead over our opponents. We're doing really well, so let's see how the back 9 goes for us. Hole number 10 is a par 4, so this one shouldn't be an issue. After a good opening drive, I struggled in this hole, but my teammate was able to secure a birdie as well as the other team, so the score hasn't changed after hole 10. Hole 11 is another par 4. I was dialed in on this hole and had a great drive, followed by a near perfect shot on the green, and then sank the putt to give me a birdie on the hole. Montague only got par and were able to extend our lead after 11 holes to 10 overall. Hole 12 is another par 4. I did horrible on this hole and was trapped in the sand for 2 attempts, but my teammate bailed me out on this hole and got par. And even though we didn't do great on this hole, Montague got a bogey, extending our lead to 11 overall. Hole 13 is a par 5, so it's a much longer hole. I didn't do good to start this hole, and I hit the ball directly in the sand again. But I worked my way out of it and found myself in a situation where if I could sink a long putt, I could get a birdie on the hole. And that's just what I did. I was becoming a menace when putting. I was really good at it most of the time, and it usually helped my team because my teammate wasn't great at that part of his game. I really liked the putting part of this game. We finished that hole with a birdie, and Montague got par, so we gained another stroke to our lead, moving it up to 12 going into the 14th hole. I think we have this in the bag unless we completely fall apart. Hole 14 is a par 3, so let's check out how we did on this one. I fell apart on that hole and just couldn't get the ball to go into the hole, but my teammate helped out again and got us a nice par. We tied on this one, so the score didn't change after this. Hole 15 is a par 4 again. I don't even want to talk about this hole because both my teammate and myself did horrible and were only able to finish the hole with a bogey. And after all this time, Montague was able to do better than us on the hole and he got par, knocking our lead down to 11 after 15 holes. I think it's a bit too late, but I wasn't happy about this at all. Hole 16 is a par 3, the last short hole of the course. I absolutely smashed this one, landing right next to the hole off the opening drive and then sinking the following putt, giving us a birdie on it. Montague struggled on this hole and got a bogey, giving us that 1 point back from before and adding another. Hole 17 is a par 4 and we're almost done with this course now. After spending most of this hole in the sand, my teammate sinks this short putt to get par on it. But look how aggressive he was about it. I don't know if he was doing that all game, but it looks like he's trying to crush the ball when putting. We get par on this hole and they got a bogey, so we gained another stroke to our lead heading into the final hole. We're up 14 strokes for hole 18. We have nothing to worry about at this point. Hole 18 is a par 4, so let's see how we finish this game out. I struggled on the last hole, but my teammate Irons was calm and collective and finished the hole with a par. Even though Montague got a birdie on the last hole, they were nowhere near us, so we won this one with no problem. He gives us the most dramatic losing animation ever, and we finished Tiger Woods PGA Tour 06. Would I recommend this game? I would recommend this game. Even though it's a sports title, it still plays really well, and I had a lot of fun playing this one. It's solid after all these years, and if I had friends that wanted to come over and play a golf game, I wouldn't hesitate to boot this one up. But let me know what you think about it in the comments below. If you want to know what's next, stick around, but if not, thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe, like, and share this video, and we'll see you in the next one. We got our GameCube list set up. We have our random number generator ready to go at 523. And on the count of 3, we're going to find out what our next game is going to be. So in 3, 2, 1, 130. Which is, what is 130, 130? 130 is Evolution Worlds. Not really sure what this is. A role-playing video game designed by Sting Entertainment for the GameCube.